They pointed a gun at me over a can of navy blue paint. Seriously, one trip to the hardware store and suddenly I'm public enemy number one in my own neighborhood. That's how it started, right there on my front porch in Sunset Valley, Arizona, thinking I'd found a peaceful corner to settle after years in the Navy, only to end up toe-to-toe with the kind of HOA president who acts like she's running the Pentagon. If you've ever dealt with power-hungry clipboard warriors or those fake security guards who cosplay as real law enforcement, you know exactly the flavor of nonsense I'm talking about. Honestly, I'd love to hear your stories, so don't be shy. Drop a comment and tell me if your HOA is even crazier than mine. Let me back up a sec. The first morning I moved in, the place felt like a dream: clean streets, tidy lawns, the smell of fresh coffee on my porch, and for the first time in ages, I thought maybe, just maybe, I'd found somewhere I could call home. The house was nothing fancy, just a modest two-bedroom with stucco walls and a porch just begging for a rocking chair. After 6 years overseas, all I wanted was some peace and quiet, a place to work on antique clocks and forget about people barking orders at me. But in Sunset Valley, you learn pretty fast that peace comes with a price, and that price has a name: Deborah Collins. Now, the first thing I wanted to do, just like anyone moving in, was put my own stamp on the place. I'm Navy through and through, and when I spotted that can of navy blue paint, I thought of the ocean, of nights on watch with my unit in Bahrain, and of a color that felt like home. So I spent my Saturday painting the front door, feeling that old sense of belonging wash over me with every stroke. By Sunday morning, though, my peaceful mood got interrupted. This woman, Deborah, shows up on my driveway, crisp white suit, clipboard in hand, and a look like she's about to deliver a death sentence. She goes, "Good morning, Mr. West. We need to discuss your door." You know that tone, fake sweet, but all threat. Turns out, according to her freshly printed, official guidelines, navy blue isn't an approved color. The rules, she says, only allow earth tones: beige, tan, off-white. The best part? These guidelines had been updated just last Tuesday, less than a week ago. I ask for a copy. She hands me a hot-off-the-printer document with no letterhead, no seal, nothing official about it. She tells me I have 48 hours to fix my violation, or it'll cost me $300 to be exact. I won't lie. Part of me wanted to argue, but I'd seen enough conflict for a lifetime and figured keeping the peace wasn't worth fighting over a door. I spent Sunday repainting it beige, each stroke feeling like I was erasing a piece of myself. But it's just paint, right? That's what I kept telling myself. Only I had no clue I'd just kicked off 3 months of pure madness. 3 days later, I'm minding my own business in the garage, jazz on the speaker, working on a vintage watch. Suddenly, there's a knock so aggressive I think the sheriff's about to break in. In walks Darren Hughes, mid-30s, orange vest, mustache you could use as a paintbrush. He's the HOA audio security officer, carrying what I swear is a Fisher-Price toy disguised as a decibel meter. He says my jazz is at 51 decibels, one over the community limit. He writes me a ticket for $800 on a sheet of printer paper, complete with childish handwriting. When I ask to see the regulation, he shows me another amateur hour document. I'm standing there, citation in hand, wondering if I've moved into a sitcom. Darren is all puffed up, like he's about to call in backup if I so much as sneeze. He warns me that the HOA has additional enforcement measures for noncompliance, and it hits me. These people crave power but have no idea what to do with it. They're just playing pretend, but their game is getting old, fast. So, my old military instincts kick in. I install a security camera, start documenting everything. If they're going to treat this like a war zone, well, they picked the wrong vet to tangle with. The next week, I get another ticket, this time for visual pollution, because I put some $15 plastic flowers on my porch. Funny thing is, the exact same flowers are all over the community center, but when I ask about it, I'm told the HOAs are official installations. I go to the community center, request HOA financial records. By law, they have to give them to me. Turns out, Deborah's been approving purchases of $150 high-end plastic flowers, thousands of dollars over budget. Fraud, plain and simple. I decide to have a little fun. I set out 2 identical flower arrangements with a sign. Which one violates the HOA rules? Deborah storms over, loses her cool, and for the first time drops the mask. I decide what's appropriate. She snaps. "You're a problem." Right then, I know this isn't about community standards. It's about control. And this control freak just made me her personal project. But things get wild when Darren comes back, not with a toy, but in a full fake security uniform, hand on what looks like a real gun, trying to detain me for threatening community officials. My instincts screamed danger, but I noticed the gun's barrel glint plastic, a replica. I keep my cool, call him out on it, and Darren's bravado crumbles. He finally backs down, warning me this isn't over. But you know what? For him, that was the last straw. I start digging. Turns out, Darren's no cop, never has been. Deborah's funneling HOA funds into phony expenses. The whole operation's a racket. But here's the twist. An elderly neighbor, Mrs. Gladys from across the street, brings me a camera. She's recorded Darren waving his fake gun at me, and she's got months of evidence of Deborah running families out of the neighborhood with impossible fines. She even has audio of Deborah bragging at a closed meeting about using fines as a revenue stream, overcharging for everything because no one checks receipts. With that in hand, I organize a community meeting quietly, methodically, just like a mission briefing. Everyone shows up, tired of being bullied. Deborah and Darren strut in, thinking they'll take control, but this time, they're outnumbered. I lay out all the evidence, fraud, intimidation, even the recording of Darren threatening me. The room erupts. Deborah tries to shout over everyone, but it's useless, her empire's crumbling. Then I reveal my background, 6 years as a Navy SEAL. The room goes silent. Suddenly, my paranoia makes sense. People realize they've been trusting the wrong folks. We take a vote. 23-0. Deborah's out, her rule's gone. New transparent board elected, and for the first time in months, you could feel the whole community breathe easy. Darren sneaks out, apologizing on his way. 3 weeks later, I'm back out front, paintbrush in hand, restoring my door to navy blue. Neighbors come by, cracking jokes, handing me cold drinks, asking about the next HOA meeting. They're actually happy to be here now. The community flourishes. Monthly reports, open meetings, no more made-up fines. One evening, the council president drops off a wooden sign, honorary community hero. They even make me an honorary board member, my only job, to remind them never to let power go to their heads. Deborah sells her house and vanishes, and for the first time since moving in, I turn off my security camera. Don't need it anymore. So, that's my story, a can of paint, a navy blue door, and one stubborn HOA president who learned the hard way you can only push people so far before they push back. Sometimes, the smallest victories, like the color of your own front door, are the most satisfying, especially when they mean you've helped give your little patch of the world back to the people who actually live in it. Now, let's talk. Have you ever tangled with an HOA? Were they fair or power-hungry? What's the wildest thing they ever tried to pull? Share your story in the comments, because I have a feeling Sunset Valley isn't the only place where a can of paint can start a revolution.